This was something I was aware of before, but and I also did mention some of this on my last YouTube video, but I might as well embellish, the rest of it and where I'm coming from because, well, I have a very suspicious mind. That's just how I am, and I've been an accountant for a number of years for some entrepreneur type people that are they want you to protect their assets in every way possible, and you need to be looking out, angles on every type of way something can come from left field. So I might think a little different from the average person. But I'm just going to repeat this again. This was back in May 2011. Eric Sprott, Sprott Fund, whatever, sells his silver trust units. So in the last 2 weeks of April, when the price of silver peaked, he sold his units, right, in a silver trust, a PSLV. And it goes on. It's unclear at the time why Sprott sold his shares as a request. They requested an explanation be put in with Sprott. And, I can figure anyway. Regardless of the reason, the timing looks quite prescient, considering that the price of silver has come off in the past few days, right? And you look on here on YouTube, and I know this guy is I never heard him say there was going to be pullback. Now, I do remember Brother John F. saying that he figured the price was going to go to about 50 and pull back. If you want to, I'm not saying to take his recommendation and play silver in and out, but he did call the stuff right. I remember Stella Concepts stated he was selling some of his physical silver because he was, it's getting risky. It's getting up too high. He's remembered the person in business that, he thought he was doing great and he should have liquidated some more things, and it turned out, everything turned around. So he just wanted to, secure his profits on some stuff. But what makes me wonder, but that was all out in the front, all up front. Everybody, both those people stated those things ahead of time. But I never heard nothing from Eric Sprott saying, I think there's going to be a pullback in silver. He's always telling you it's going to go to 100, right? So, then here, now, those two I just mentioned before, Stella Concept and Brother John F., they didn't think, nobody really suspected a pullback in September. But lo and behold, here's Eric Sprott. He sells the balance of his PSLV shares. So, first transaction, 9/19 and 9/23, September 26, 27, and 27. I think we had to pull back on what, 28th? So, this guy, to me, I listen to this guy and I stopped listening to him. And I stopped listening to a lot of people because they tell me a lot of facts about silver. They tell me about the mining. They tell me about this and that. But this guy, when he does it twice, gets it right twice. He doesn't say anything about ahead of time, even hint that it might pull back. It's all bullishness. It's all like, that's the reason you should buy it. This is the reason you should buy it. I got suspicion. But I think his fund is a lot better than the rest of them. And I think there's a lot of people that just plain won't buy physical anything. They're going to invest electronically. Most people won't even buy SLV. That's how most people are. They will not even buy SLV because, stay away from the silver, stay away from the gold. That's how a lot of people think. You would be surprised. That's how people with big money think. They're scared of the volatility of the metals. They don't want to mess with them. But even once they wise up, I think a lot of people are probably going to wise up. If they're going to go electronic, you're going to go into his fund because his fund is generally a lot better. So you might see a higher premium on it. In my case, I figure I'm going to dump a good half of this when it gets to about 60, 68 or something, and either hold on for a pullback or I'll go into another metal like palladium or anything. It could be anything. I'm going to point out something about oil, and a lot of people hate that stuff, but Russia today is the #1 oil producer. They're past Saudi. They're at 10 million barrels a day. Now, I say, despite all the rhetoric about them saying all these things against the United States and all the crooks over here and stuff like that, they're totally in on the price of oil going up to $200 a barrel or whatever it's going to go to, because they're going to totally profit by it. It's a lot of rhetoric to pump up world opinion on their side, and make the West look as bad as possible. And I'm not saying our leaders are great people, but I think, what's going on in Russia, they got some leaders over there really screwing over the population. Like, if you're looking at this number, say it's 10 million barrels a day, 7.1 million barrels a day go to export. You start comparing that what they have for population. Their population doesn't use very much oil. Most Russians don't even drive a car. It's not like in the United States at all. So when you got a guy like Putin with at least $40 billion net worth, that guy's wealth is like totally astronomical in Russia. I know they like him because he's kind of restored the national pride and honor, but he's not doing anybody over there any favors, believe me. Now, to make a little calculation, if you got 7.1 million barrels of oil, 365 days a year, which it never sleeps, right? If you get a price of $100 added onto whatever it is, already the price is about $100. So if it goes to $200 a barrel, you got over $250 billion more going into Russia beyond what they're already getting for oil. Everything doubled. The revenue doubled on oil. And what oil is actually, oil and natural gas is a lot of the Russian strength, a lot of the Russian clout that it has. So I guarantee you they're totally in on what the Western leaders are doing. And as a curiosity, I was thinking, the next one at top will probably is Syria. They are a minor oil producer, but I was just wondering how much of an impact that would make on a global supply. Because actually I do look at all this, just to calculate what's going to happen with the prices and everything. As far as an immediate future, I don't think, Israel is not supposed to attack Iran. I know that. Because what they're going to do first, at least what the United States wants to do, is get together a coalition with Saudi, Dubai, United Emirate Arabic, whatever the hell, UAE. And, get some kind of people together first where it looks like it's not just the United States and Israel attacking, doing a strike on Iran. But I guarantee you Russia's in on it. In one way you can tell, I'm going to play like about 10 seconds of this. It's from Primakov, who's the former Prime Minister of Russia. And tell me if this doesn't prove, because he just wouldn't make such a stupid statement like this. I think he very much well knows.
But the latter can change. Take the present Arab Spring, for instance. It's absolutely obvious to me that it broke out in Tunisia and Egypt without any external preparation.
So he says that the Arab Spring in Tunisia and Egypt broke out without any external help. Well, tell me another one. That's why I say they're all in on it with the West. And I keep looking at, $260 billion more going in their economy every year, above and beyond what already is going in there just for oil. So I say, they're totally in on it. But as far as this guy, this really gives you pause to wonder, how uncanny his predictability is. It's beyond belief. So word to the wise, I think this fund is a good fund, as far as ETFs go, but I'm going to dump mine. When silver goes up to a certain point, I'm going to dump a little more than half of it. And I've been planning on doing that for a while, but I got to still wait. So, but I think this fund will probably show a little bit more premium than the spot price, so it'll pull me a little bit more ahead. But I'll take just plain cash and carefully assess where I want to put, the majority of it. It may be in palladium. If this price stays that low like this and it doesn't move or whatever, I mean, it could be something else too. I'm not sure. But as of today, I mean, if I was going to dump a good chunk of money into something, I'd be dumping it right in this metal right now, palladium. Despite what maybe people how they feel about it, but I think you need to be flexible on things, and silver is the best bet. But any one of these metals is good. You know, platinum is a much better metal to buy today than gold, and palladium is a much better buy than platinum. As far as silver, I'm not 100% sure because there's so much advertisement now going on for silver that people are starting to wake up. And if you just had, I mean, you got 100 million ounces more going into hands in the United States, which isn't really much. I mean, you're talking to the common people. Start buying a few ounces here and a few ounces there, and maybe 10% of the people in the United States start doing that. The reason I think this stuff can go up pretty fast is because of the price. People don't have to lay out, $600 something dollars or $1,600 or $1,800 for those metals. I think that's why it's probably going to push up. And I know Eric Sprott brought out that fact, and I read that fact elsewhere too, that for every dollar going into silver, there's a dollar going into gold. But what that means is that 50 ounces of silver being pumped out into the market physically into people's hands versus 1 ounce for every ounce of gold. And at those rates, no possible way is silver going to be able to keep up because there isn't enough metal available for investment purposes. Nowhere near. So, he states all these, this guy cracks me up in a way because he states all these facts, but he always leaves out when he's going to do something like this,